Oh hi, today I want to talk to you about Contiki tours. I plan on doing a little video series on the different Contiki tours that I've actually experienced and kind of what they're like so I can show you what to expect. Today I'm going to talk about my most recent tour, Vietnam. So like I said, they offer 3 tours. The Indochina tour, which is a 27-day tour that takes place in all 4 countries. Then they just have the Vietnam Experience tour, which is a 12-day tour. And they have the Vietnam Highlights tour, which is the one that I did, which is a 10-day tour. So you start off in Ho Chi Minh City. You arrive, you meet your tour buddies, you have dinner, you go out for drinks. There is a little pho place in the corner of the hotel that you're staying at. You walk out and go to your left. Right at the corner, there's a great pho place that everybody raves about, so we had to try it, and it was very good. After that, after we ate our dinner, we headed over to have drinks, which is right down the street. So once you make a left out of your hotel, and you get to that pho place on the corner, you make another left, and you just walk down that street, and there's plenty of bars. You go check out a bar in Ho Chi Minh City. Some of them are a little sketchy. There's a lot of girls standing outside, which I don't know what that means, but I can imagine. Yeah, we're having drinks. And we're going to record a little bit of the scene because it's kind of interesting to watch. So yeah. Ho Chi Minh is the main city in Vietnam, and like all big cities, there's a lot of traffic. It's pretty hectic with scooters everywhere. I don't think you'll see a place, or I don't think I've ever seen a place with so many scooters. I did meet people that would rent scooters and ride it north and ship it back on a train. That would be a pretty cool way to see Vietnam. However, that wasn't a part of the Vietnam tour that Contiki offers. After day 1, you stay at the hotel, and then day 2, we started out by having coffee. Then you head to the presidential palace, which is pretty cool. They don't really allow you inside, but you get to see it from the gates. And after that, you walk down to head to the Notre Dame Cathedral. It's a very famous cathedral, and it's right across the street from the General Post Office, which you also check out. You can buy stuff at the General Post Office and send postcards. It's just a cool place to
9:10 a.m. I'm guessing.
After that, you visit the Vietnam War Museum. It's a really cool place. It has tanks, airplanes, stories from the Vietnamese people's point of view. Parts of it are a bit hard to see, but it's generally a good experience. We got rained out, then had lunch before our flight to Nha Trang.
Coffee shop.
Did my damaged toe?
Tell me about your toe.
I was filming Jimmy walking, and I missed the last step. So you'll probably see the footage drop and me laughing, and that's what happened.
Once we got to the airport, fortunately I had my priority pass that comes with my Chase Sapphire card, which I'll talk about another time. That's a different video. But our flight was delayed, so we got to enjoy some time at the lounge in Ho Chi Minh City Airport with free alcohol and food. We got to hang out with some of our other travelers and get to know them a little better. That was a really great experience. I think our delay was about 45 minutes, which gave us a pretty good amount of time to spend at the lounge. So after you leave Ho Chi Minh City, you arrive at Nha Trang. You check into the Vien Dong Hotel. Then we go out to our dinner on your own. Some restaurants offer Cobra, cooked 4 different ways, which normally I would have opted for, but it was quite expensive. Also, Nha Trang has a heavy Russian influence. Some of the imports include Coca-Cola, which I believe is from Russia, not from the United States. If you didn't know, Vietnam is still a communist country. There's a lot of things in this city that you'll notice that have a strong Russian or communist influence. After dinner, you head to the Sky Lounge / Club, where you get to know some of your travel companions a little better and spend a cool night on the rooftop of a skyscraper, which is really cool. And the next day, you wake up and you head to the Funky Monkey, which is a boat that takes you off of the coast of Nha Trang, places where you can drink, swim, and snorkel. They give you quite a nice lunch, and then you get to participate in their games, which include karaoke based on your country of origin. So they have you stand up with the people from your same country, and they have you sing a song that's from your country. It was quite a lot of fun, and the majority of the day is spent here. Just be sure to bring sunglasses and sunblock. After your day on the water, you go to the mud baths. where you and your travel friends will bathe in this muddy stew and cleanse your skin. Then you can rinse off and swim in their swim holes. You rinse off in their shower area, which can be quite cool. You can walk through and have all these jets of water blasting all the mud off of you. It's a cool way to end the day, relaxing in a mud bath in the middle of the jungle. I suggest packing your bags that night because the next morning you wake up early and you fly to Hoi An. Once you arrive in Hoi An, you'll check into the Acacia Hotel. Close by, you can get some of your clothes washed for a small fee, and then you'll be good to go for the remainder of your trip. I usually only pack for 10 days at a time, so it's a good way to make sure my suitcase is full of clean clothes. Anyway, the first thing you'll do in Hoi An is do a tour of the city via bicycle, where you'll see the rice fields and the city's beautiful architecture. Hoi An is a very beautiful place located on the river. They have street merchants and great food.
Got some roast dumplings, some spring rolls, and fried wontons.
After the bike ride, I suggest walking around the streets, just check out the city. After your day in Hoi An, you'll roam the lit up streets and canal and make your way to the heart of the city where you'll take place in a cooking class for Vietnamese food. Alright, your turn. I really enjoy that a lot of the Contiki experiences that I've done in Asia come with a cooking class. They show you how to make classic Vietnamese dishes as well as give you a little history of the food itself. Once you've completed the cooking class / dinner, you're able to have a free night. We took a boat ride on the river. That's a great way to see how the city is lit up at night. Hoi An is not a very big city and does not have skyscrapers or anything like that. It's an old, cultured, beautiful city. Day 5, you'll wake up and you'll head to the famous Marble Mountains.
Alright, heading up to the Marble Mountains.
You'll start your adventure inside the caves of the Marble Mountains that have a steep staircase that you can walk up and eventually make your way to the top.
Right. Isn't quite the top, but Marble Mountains.
It gives you an incredible view to the city and is worth the walk, but you will be extremely exhausted after the walk up. It's several hundred stairs to the top. And I'm not kidding, it is difficult.
Oh my god, finally made it. Man, that was rough. Made it.
After the Marble Mountains, you'll head to the beach where we opted to have lunch on the beach instead of partake in swimming. They make incredibly good seafood on the coast of Hoi An. It's a great place to get a local snack.
Alright, see?
Another cool thing they offer in Hoi An is clothing. They have local shops with tailors and shoemakers that will make custom clothes for you.
What are you doing there?
Try on some new shoes. Custom made.
Custom made?
It's fairly reasonable, but I do suggest you start this process early because some of the people that had some of the stuff made didn't have enough time to make sure everything was fitted just right. Now, they will go back and re-tailor your clothes. So once they actually do the rough draft, they'll have you try it on and then they'll make adjustments. But sometimes those adjustments aren't perfect and some people had issues with that, so just be aware of that. Day 6, you'll wake up early to travel from Hoi An to Hue. They stop and show you how it looks on the way to Hue where Top Gear Vietnam was filmed.
Alright, the place where Top Gear came and filmed, apparently.
They're right, it's actually quite beautiful. Hue is famous for its Vietnamese revolutions. Once you get to Hue, you'll grab some lunch and then head on a cyclo, which is kind of like a man-powered bicycle carriage. It actually shows you a lot of the cool sights of the city on the ride as they transport you to Tu Duc Mausoleum. There's some crazy history of this place and massacres that have happened, hence the revolution I previously spoke of. After they'll take you to the Mu Pagoda, which, if you've heard of the monks lighting themselves on fire to oppose the Vietnam War, then you'll be familiar with what this place is laying tribute to. After the pagoda, you go to a street food tour of the city where you try different foods, some vegetarian and some non-vegetarian foods. You'll also get to see them making noodles and Vietnamese food from scratch, which is pretty cool. After that, you'll head back to the hotel and get into some karaoke with your travel companions. Hue is very beautiful, and unfortunately you don't really get a whole lot of time there, because the next morning you fly to Hanoi. So day 7, once you fly into Hanoi, this is basically a free day to do whatever you want in the city. You'll be back out of the jungle and back into the big city with lots of scooter traffic. Personally, the heat was starting to get to us, and we just opted to stay in that evening. So day 7, this is where you head back to the very famous Halong Bay. If you see people showing pictures of their trip to Vietnam, the Halong Bay pictures are usually the most epic. On the way, we got the opportunity to try some kopi luwat, or weasel coffee as they call it, which I couldn't pass up.
Weasel coffee. It's like coffee.
If you're not familiar with what that is, look it up. I'm sure you'll be horrified. After a few hours on the bus, you'll arrive in Halong Bay.
Alright, we just got to Halong Bay. These are the boats that are going to take us to the junk boat, which I'm assuming looks like one of those. We're going to stay the night on one of those, so it'll be fun.
You get on the transport boat that takes you over to the junk boat, which is much like a small hotel on the water. I was actually quite surprised how nice the boats were. The boats take you out on the bay, you get to see the beautiful limestone islands. One thing to be aware of is that there's no swimming in Halong Bay. There is an area where you can swim, but they have had problems with tourists in the past, so they don't allow swimming in the open bay anymore.
Alright, we're gonna go swimming.
Here we did some kayaking in the bay and just enjoyed the sheer beauty of it.
So I got this GoPro all set up, hooked onto my chest and everything, ready to go. Got to the kayak location, and my SD card's full.
So day 9, you'll wake up on the junk boat. Once you've eaten breakfast, you'll head back to Hanoi, and you'll enjoy your final night with your travel companions, before heading home with a boatload of new memories.
Rip that head off.
Yeah.
Rings in there. Thumb, scrape all that out. There you go.
And then day 10, your trip is over, and everybody goes their separate ways. So this tour was really epic for me. I did the other leg of the tour 2 years ago, and I was just dying to do the Vietnam portion of the trip. One of the things I really loved about this trip was the Marble Mountains and Halong Bay. Those are two of the most beautiful things. Hue was also very beautiful. One thing to be aware of is you need to be accustomed to constantly moving. So constantly packing your bags and constantly going somewhere else and unpacking and repacking. It's just a part of the tour. So I'm pretty used to this sort of travel. It wasn't that big a deal to me because I'm accustomed to it. But for some people, it can be quite difficult. If you do watch my video on how to pack a bag, that'll give you a little bit of insight on the way that I sort of do it to make it easier for me on these types of trips. I really hope you like this video, and I'll try to make some other videos on my other tours that I've experienced through Contiki, just so you get an idea of what they were like. I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any comments or questions, just put them in the comment section. I'd be more than happy to answer them.